Imagine a city bathed in the sun of the Mediterranean. There are no cars, no screens, no clocks dictating the rhythm of the day. Only pale stone, dust in the air, and voices echoing between columns. Athens breathes philosophy. And yet, in one of its squares, there does not live a wise man surrounded by disciples, but a nearly naked man, with a wild beard, sleeping inside a jar. His name was Diogenes of Sinope. And few figures in history have been so radical and so misunderstood. Diogenes was born in the 4th century before Christ, in an age obsessed with prestige, reputation, and appearances. Citizens competed for honor, politicians for power, and philosophers for fame. He chose another path, to strip himself of everything. Not out of misery, but out of freedom. Diogenes did not believe that happiness lay in accumulation, but in needing less and less. While others filled their houses, he emptied his life. He lived with the bare minimum, a tunic, a staff, and not even that for long. According to tradition, one day he saw a child drinking water with his hands. So he threw away his cup and said, "This child has taught me that I still own too much." For Diogenes, every unnecessary object was an invisible chain. That is why he was called a cynic. Today the word sounds like distrust or contempt, but originally it meant something else. It comes from the Greek kynikos, which means like a dog. And Diogenes lived like a dog, without shame, without fear, without pretense. He ate when he was hungry, slept when he was tired, spoke the truth even when it made others uncomfortable. He bowed to no one. He did not ask permission to be free. While Plato spoke of the perfect world of ideas, Diogenes walked through the mud. While others wrote treatises, he turned his own life into a philosophical act. He did not teach with books, but with provocations. His existence was his message. There is one scene that says it all. Alexander the Great, the most powerful man in the world, wished to meet the philosopher who despised wealth. He found him lying in the sun. Alexander, in all his greatness, offered to grant him any wish. Diogenes did not even stand up. He simply replied, "Yes. Step aside, you are blocking my sunlight." In a single sentence, Diogenes disarmed power. For what can the world offer you when you already own yourself? Another time, he walked through Athens with a lit lamp in broad daylight. People asked him what he was doing. He answered, "I am looking for an honest man." It was not a light joke. It was a poetic and cruel accusation. We are surrounded by people, yet authenticity is rare. Diogenes believed that society was sick with excess. Excess of rules, of desires, of ambition, of appearances. He thought that the more we accumulate, the further we drift from our nature. And so he provoked, disturbed, mocked social conventions, even the most sacred ones. Now this is where the confusion begins. Today, we call Diogenes those who compulsively accumulate objects and cannot let go of them. But if Diogenes himself were to rise from the dead, he would probably laugh. Because he represented the exact opposite. The so-called Diogenes syndrome has nothing to do with his philosophical thought, but with a modern and mistaken interpretation of his name. Diogenes did not accumulate things, he accumulated freedom. He did not store objects, he got rid of them. His life was a constant exercise in detachment. The paradox is poetic. The man who taught how to live with what is essential has given his name, centuries later, to a disorder based on excess. Perhaps because Diogenes was so uncomfortable that history eventually tried to domesticate him, turning his message into a label. But if we listen carefully, his voice still whispers something uncomfortable and necessary to us today. Do you really need everything you own? Or are your possessions the ones that own you? Diogenes left no writings. He founded no schools. He sought no followers. But he left behind an open question that has remained alive for more than 2,000 years. And perhaps that is the true legacy of the man who slept in a jar. to remind us that the greatest wealth is not stored. It is lived.